Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. So glad you're with us here today. Just spilled stuff all over the studio here right before going on. And that's just the story of my life. And that isn't a result of the COVID virus either. That's just reality of my life. So there we are. Speaking of reality, here comes Alice Benton and Chris Williams. Hi, guys. How are you today?
Well, I was having a lovely quiet time with God this morning, and I planned to extend it a bit more when two of my very noisy children interrupted. I was very annoyed, and I had to stop and realize this is a divine appointment. Something better is here for me with my kids versus the quiet time from God. So in combination with your spill, Steve, I think it's only going to get better from here.
I do too. And you know, here's the thing. We're just wrapping up Mental Health Awareness Month. I've never been so aware of my lack of it after a month of focusing on it. How about you? So anyway, we're glad you're with us. We're going to go right to the phones. And let's talk with, how about we talk with Donna. And Donna's calling us from the great station KKLA in Huntington Beach there. Hi, Donna. Welcome to New Life. How can we help today?
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Well, I have a daughter who's 35, and she has, I think she has borderline personality disorder. She's never been diagnosed with it, but everything has looked like that's it. Anyway, we had a fight about a year ago, and she was visiting here, and we had a fight over her sister, and it got kind of ugly, and she left with my two grandkids, and I have not seen the grandkids or talked to the grandkids, and it'll be a year the end of this month. And we've tried, my husband and I have tried contacting her. She cut us off. She blocked us from everything because I have a sister that asked her why she was doing this, and she acted like it never happened and that we were lying. So my question is, I keep sending the kids and gifts and her, and I've apologized to her by letter, and she's blocked us, and she's no longer talking to her sister either. So do I keep continually trying to gift her and win her back, or do I just leave it alone? I've read,
okay, I got that question there. Let's just stop with the question there. And I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'll let Chris pick it up from there. Why is your daughter a borderline personality disorder? Anybody ever asked you that before? Why is she a borderline personality disorder?
Well, I'm not sure if she is. She could be bipolar, but she goes from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
Why does she go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds? What was it in her childhood?
We tried to figure that out. Been in counseling for that. I don't know. We really don't know. There's never been any real trauma that we know of in her life.
Well, what was, borderline doesn't necessarily have to have trauma, You could end up borderline because you had somebody that made you believe that just walking in the room you were special and deserved all their attention, and that everybody should stop everything they're doing because Daddy stopped everything that he did and gave you everything and treated you like you're a princess, not like the normal little kind of princess, but a princess, like you were royalty, not like his little princess, and that everybody in the world would treat you like that. And then one day you discover that's not exactly the way it's working out. And so it takes extremes to get that attention. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Okay, so I said I'd turn this over to Chris after asking about why. I do think if we have a child that is disconnected, distorted relationship, toxic relationship, things like that, I do think it's important for us to stop long enough and say, how could this be? And it is, a lot of different things. And it could have absolutely, or it could, well, you can say absolutely, but it could be something that happened, after they were out of the house and things like that, that you did your best and all of that. But all of us need to ask, why is this here if we want to reconnect? So that, here's my point, and now I'll turn it over to Chris. We're trying to develop some insight into the person, not just do I indulge, do I keep on gifting, do I try to manipulate up here without having insight down there. Okay, Chris, now it's all yours.
Okay, so Donna, the first thing I'm going to say is I want to eliminate a phrase that you have, and do I win her back? My answer is no, because your relationship with your child is not to win them one way or the other. Your attempt is to connect with them. The other thing it sounds to me is like, there's a lot of gift giving that is done here, and that seems to be the primary way in which you can connect with them and even control connection. I'm not opposed to giving gifts at all. I just think that the motivation behind that is critically important. And the other thing too is, as Steve was saying, is that when we give people I'll say this, when we give into the demands of children over and over and over again, one of the dangerous things that happens is it breaks down their resiliency, their ability to deal with disappointment, their ability to face challenges or even fail and bounce back. And so in adulthood, when something disappointing happens, it goes quickly down this trail from disappointment to discouragement to even despair. And so that's a person that holds high expectations of the world and everyone around them. We call that entitlement, but live with an unending amount of disappointment because the world and people around them refuse to meet their expectations. And so I would then go on to say, yeah, I would refuse to meet her expectations because it's impossible. What you have to decide then is that this is a painful loss, but what is the type of mom that I want to be? Who do I want to be in this situation, and how do I want to show up responsibly and lovingly, and including with boundaries?
All right, so I've got this book I'll send you that might help you here, understanding and loving a person with borderline personality disorder. But Alice, what are you thinking here would be the most helpful thing for Donna? She really does want a relationship with her daughter. She's asked us, how do you get that?
You know what, Steve, it's not really my daughter that I'm concerned over. It's my two granddaughters who I've had a great relationship. One's 6 and one's 3, and she will not allow me or my husband to contact or get in touch with them at all. And the last time we tried, my husband went to their house, and her husband said, I have to protect my family from you people. So, I mean, what do we,
Whoa.
But
where did that come from? Wow.
How
do you get to that place?
Probably from water.
So, Alice, what are you thinking here? Let's see if that is really tough. But again, you have to be worried about your daughter to get to the grandchildren. And so
Right.
your focus really is in the right direction here of, what to do about winning your daughter back, or,
Right.
I mean, that, like Chris says, that's really not the point. The point here is, how do we try to resolve this so that you do have access to your grandkids? Okay, Alice, any thoughts here for us?
Donna, has your daughter asked you to stop giving anything to the granddaughters?
No, not yet, no. But she has told her sister that the gifts are not welcomed, but she takes them.
If the gifts aren't welcome, although she hasn't communicated that to you, then I might start spacing things out a bit more and doing letters, cards to the girls versus gifts, to respect the message that you're receiving, even though it's through your other daughter. But I certainly wouldn't give up, because you want the message to get through to the girls as much as you can, that you love them, you care for them, you're there for them. I wouldn't stop making attempts either to reconnect with your daughter, but I would be careful on not overwhelming her when the message has been she wants space.
Okay. Like, like my husband, we're going there this weekend, and my husband's birthday is, and we're having some people gathered together. Do we even think about inviting them or not?
I would say this. I would try to get a message to her saying, I know you don't want to hear from us. You've asked us to give you space. We want you to know you're still always on our mind. We're having this birthday for Dad. You're more than welcome, but we'll understand if you don't come. But we want you to know we want you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to approach it. I'm so sorry you're having to go through this, and
No, it's horrible.
that kind of radical reaction. We got to protect our kids from you people. It's horrible. So here's what I want to say to some folks that it hasn't reached that point yet. Be really careful, when you're dealing with your children who are raising your grandchildren. Be careful. Don't make some issue such a big issue. They're out of the house. You're not raising your kids anymore. But don't be critical of them and raise some big issue that causes them to keep the kids away from you, the grandkids. It's so sad when this happens, because obviously these are really not healthy kids. And they need a healthy grandparent there. So, oh my goodness.
And Steve, I think we need to try to be aware of the answer to the question, what do we do that bothers our children or rubs them wrong? And some of those things I'm going to keep doing because I know they're in the best interest of my kids. I'm going to hold to the rules that bother my children. But I want to be aware of anything that I do. I want to stay aware by asking my kids, how am I doing? How am I affecting you? I think I hurt your feelings the other day. Would you tell me about it? That should be an ongoing conversation for all of us, so we keep it on our radar.
And there are folks, I met a guy like me that was an avoider, and it's uncomfortable when you sense that something's not exactly right, it didn't go well. It's uncomfortable to go back and say, oh, wow. But that is so healthy, Alice, that we try to stay current with them. Did that feel weird? Did I hurt your feelings? Things like that really can keep the relationship growing and moving forward rather than you being cut off from the grandkids. All right, let's go to Ann. She's calling from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Ann. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you, Steve?
Great. What's going on? How can we help today?
Thank you so much. I have an older brother who's been in prison for about 27 years, and he is about to get out. And I told him that I would make sure he had a place to live. He thought he would get to come home with me, even though he hasn't lived in the same house as me since 1972, when he graduated from high school. But he got another charge 7 years ago, and he had to do more time. And in that time, he went from being healthy to having terminal liver disease. And now he's got to leave and go straight to a nursing home, and he's really feeling betrayed because, he said, him. I promised
Yeah.
him that he could live with me.
Right.
And
So what's the
I
question
don't know
for
how to
us?
deal with that because
Yeah.
how can I approach him and deal with him about this? Because he's in denial about having a terminal disease. He's in denial
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
And he says he's a Christian. So how can I approach this and let him know that, God's there for him and I'm there for him too. I just can't be there for him by having him in my home because I work. I can't take care of him all day.
Right. All right. Well, Alice,
So
what do you think? I mean,
And out of your generosity, you made a promise you couldn't live up to, and he assumed something about it that wasn't true. But you can't guarantee, you couldn't back then guarantee that you could make sure he had a place to live.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I think you went a little bit beyond in what you said there, and you couldn't quite follow through with it. So I think you have a good chance here to acknowledge that, you know what, I made a mistake and I set you up to think I could do something for you that I couldn't do, and I can't even do it now. And you do feel. Go ahead, Steve.
let me just ask this: Didn't he, between the time you made the promise and the time that he's going to get out of prison, didn't he then get this new diagnosis of the terminal thing, or did you already know about that?
No, he wasn't sick then, and he was a trustee. He was within a year of getting out, and he reoffended while in prison.
Okay.
And so his whole pod had extra time, so he was healthy then, as far as we knew.
Okay, so when he was healthy, you were saying, I can do this, and then he gets another charge, and then he gets this diagnosis, and so things have changed, right?
Yes, they have. I mean, it's his own fault that he got another charge. He was doing
That's
something
right.
he shouldn't do in prison, and
Well,
Okay.
so I don't know what to do.
well,
I want him
and
to be happy for having
yeah,
God.
and you're not a medical facility, is that correct?
Right, I'm just a lady.
Then I think this is super simple. He has a terminal illness that you can't care for him. Bringing him into your home would be participating in his terminal illness, not helping his terminal illness. If he's in denial about that, that's not on you. That's on him, because you want to stay with the truth and the seriousness of the truth of his situation. And so I personally don't think you've gone back on your word. I think you've done everything correctly. You've made a very generous offer to him, but given the current circumstances, it's just as simple as, I can't care for you, and I won't stand by and let you get less than the best care that we can offer in your terminal illness.
And maybe like Alice is saying here, you go back to him and you say, I just want to say that when I said that you could have a place to live and take care of you, that kind of thing, that, I made it sound like under all circumstances I could do that, and I should have clarified, if things keep going the way they're going, it's going to be great. But they didn't keep going that way, and your health did get worse. You did get this other charge, and so that's why I can't do it. I'm so sorry. I just don't have the capacity. But if it had been the way it was, then everything would have worked out fine. I think maybe that's your confession to him, that you just didn't realize things might get like this. Now the question is, are you afraid? Are you afraid of him when he gets out, or not?
Afraid? No, because he's very frail. Now,
Okay.
I feel guilty because we didn't try to get him a good lawyer, but we didn't have the money. Plus, when I was a child, he physically abused me, and and so for years I had nothing to do with him. But now I'm taking my mother's place. She's passed, and I'm trying to see about him like our mother would,
All right. So here's another question for you. Where's he going to go when he gets out of prison? Where is he going?
They had found a place in Middle Georgia. It's a nursing home, and it's got a lot of ex-convicts there. I just want him to feel free for the time left,
Well, you know what? He's got a place, and that's a good thing. And you just are going to have to share with him. You wish it had been different, but it can't be.
Okay, I will.
Alice, final thought here?
And I'm just worried that you feel overly responsible for your brother, and that perhaps you take on more of the burden of making sure he's happy, of trying to smooth the road for him when he keeps making decisions that give him a bumpy road that he lives on. So I think you have some personal work to do on growing towards a healthy detachment from the pain your brother has brought into his life because of the decisions he's made.
Yeah, I think that's true. Let me send you. Well, we'll pick it up here. Final comment from here right after the break. You're listening to New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000. If you want to join us on the program, love to have you. Well, I'll tell you, it's tough when we've got relatives that are in trouble. We want to help. Can't cure. Tough.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 30th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change. By the end of the day yesterday, her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Ann, and we feel bad for Ann. Ann, you had one other thing you want to say before we say goodbye to you?
I don't remember if I did or not, but I'm just telling you, I appreciate y'all so much. You've helped on so many different levels, and this is just, I think what I said was I feel that same way with all my family. I feel responsible for everybody. So that is my problem. I guess I have to deal with.
Well, have you ever thought about getting into some kind of codependency group and try to get some freedom from all of that so you could enjoy this amazing life that God has for you?
No, that would be wonderful because I want to make everything better for everybody, you know. And I do love my life. I mean, I love the Lord so much. It's just I can't wait to go home and see him a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
And I think you're even trying to make life better for your perpetrator, who still isn't a safe person, who still wants to take advantage of you and twist the power that he has over you.
So true. What do you think about that?
But I think that's very true, and I know he calls a lot of different relatives trying to get, and I don't blame him, but he tries to get, money and things for stuff in prison, and I don't blame him for that.
Hey, Ann, hold on. I do blame him for that. I blame him for his dangerous behavior because because he is responsible for it. So Ann, here's what happens.
True.
your brother, and maybe not just him, but there's been a lot of dangerous and painful things around you in your life. And,
Yes.
and when that happens and we feel powerless against it, we go, some of us, me included, go put on our superhero capes and try to make everyone feel better. But what we're actually trying to do is make ourselves feel better. And so here's how this shows up in our life. We carry around a thermometer to see how we're doing. But instead of taking our own temperature, we take the temperature of everyone else. And then we look at the thermometer to see if we're okay. So I'm taking my temperature through your mouth to see if I'm okay. If you're okay with me, I'm okay. Oh, you're not okay with me, then I'm not okay. And we lose our power over and over and over by doing that. And so if I'm okay by everyone else being okay, I will live my life frustrated and powerless. But when I take back my life, I think there's a book about that, then I learned that the better I am okay with me, the better things around me get.
You know,
Wow.
one of the things
I never
that's
thought about that.
yeah, and it's so profound what Chris is saying here. And it's not a judgment, and it's not something we want to cause any kind of shame or self-condemnation, but it's just really common that a codependent person would think, I'm doing this for other people and not stop long enough to say maybe I'm doing it for me. And, I think we use codependency in some really crummy ways. Sometimes we shut people down, we shame them, and that's not what we're trying to do here. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you, I think this is what Chris is trying to do, to see that maybe if I work on something within me, then I don't have to feel the weight of the world, including the weight of a brother who abused me coming out of prison and me wanting things to be okay for him rather than grateful. He is not going to live with me. He has a place to go. He is the one that got the illness. He is the one that offended while in prison. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of people that go to prison, and it's the greatest thing that ever happened in their lives. They come out, they are better people. They get involved in a recovery program, or they start serving folks in prison. And that isn't the case for him. And now he's kind of the person he abused, he's trying to shame you into taking care of him. If I were you, oh my goodness, I would get any kind of counseling I needed until I did not feel 1 ounce of responsibility for his place to live or his care or anything like that. I would be concerned, I would want the best for him, but I wouldn't feel responsible for it. That would be something to try to free yourself from.
Steve, you started the show talking about the whole life recovery set and the program. And what it does is it helps us all to see that not only are people that go to prison for abusing broken, but in fact, we are all broken, and you are too. I am as well.
Yeah.
And life recovery helps us to see that we need to focus on our own brokenness, get healed from it, and in that process, we become much better helpers, and we help in a healthier way that allows other people to suffer the consequences for their behavior because it's helpful to them. That's a God-designed system that wakes us up and turns us around. And we help others by getting the help for ourselves. So, Ann, I think you have found some freedom in what you heard from Chris and from Steve. And I hope you take that and run with it in your own recovery.
All right, Ann, I'm going to send you a couple things. First, I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back because, well, I'll tell you, that can really help free you from all of this. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible and a workbook, too. And then you can send that on to your brother or give it to him. Because that's really where he needs to be in his own recovery from whatever it is that's causing him to be stubborn enough to reoffend while in prison. or to presume upon the person that he abused.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Alice Benton, Chris Williams. Would love to invite you to get your act together in whatever way we could help you. And here's the way. We have counselors on our network. You can call. We'll try to find a great counselor for you. Every Man's Battle, well, that's tomorrow. You could be part of that tomorrow. It's not too late. It's online. And you could be a guy that's still in this, you're like the bad little boy looking at dirty pictures. Your wife's like the angry mom. Why don't we get out of that dynamic? And it's not going to happen. How many times have you heard this program and we've talked about Every Man's Battle and you're saying, oh, I don't want to travel or don't have the money. Tomorrow's the day for you. And look, we also hear this all the time. Well, I'm up in the morning reading my Bible, praying. Okay, so that's you. What you need is lower your arrogance down to humility. Call us. Let us help you get it taken care of. That would be so great. Also, we've got Intimacy in Marriage coming up in July. That's online too, and that changes everything. We use our clinicians there, just like we do in all of our intensives. So we've got something for it. Chris and I are going to do Finding Freedom, and that's June the 13th. So you don't have to, you can be free pretty quickly. June 13th, you can be free. We'll help you find it. You call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But before we go any beyond anything, I just want to talk about this codependency thing because, Chris, you were saying, you were really trying to help yourself. That codependent folks, they come to discover they're trying to help themselves or make themselves feel better. And Dave Stoop, who I've been friends with, written with, and I'm so sorry he can't be on the program right now. He's getting over a little health thing, and pray for him. Hope he'll be back on. But one of the things that was so profound is when, and we had been together for quite some time, when he had this realization with his son, I wasn't, doing this stuff for him. I was doing it for me. Mm-hmm. And when he came to that realization, everything started to change. And that is not to belittle the efforts or to shame the efforts of codependence. But it's really important that a codependent person, if that's your problem, that you look at What is my motive? What am I doing here? And then if it's off a bit, you make the correction.
Well, I think that is a key importance, because it can start off all with pure love. I mean, a genuine concern. Sure. And that's where I think it's important what you said, Steve, is that we're not using codependency as a weapon against people. We're using it as a tool of understanding towards health and where we're off and where we're on. And just it comes back to I think the very basic principle that we find in the Serenity Prayer is that I try to control things or change things outside of my control. God, grant me the serenity to accept that which I cannot control or I cannot change, as the prayer says. That's hard to do when what we can't change is a threat. Our natural response is to try to control it towards safety. But if it's truly outside of our control, like that which exists inside other people, learning to let go, really, I believe that's a spiritual act. I mean, we need God there to help us let go of that. But what we do discover is that there's things inside of us. So God, grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change the things I can, which usually means me. And very rarely goes beyond that, because it'll take the rest of my life in this whole sanctification process and the transformation to change the broken parts or the sinful parts or the off parts in me. And it's not an act of selfishness, it's actually selfless, because if I'm going to work on me and changing, my addictive behavior, my anger, my pain, my hurts, then how I show up for other people, and most importantly for Christ and his kingdom, is very, very different. It's better. It's not just better for me, it's better for everyone else. And so letting go of those things, again, it's an act of faith, and it requires that spiritual connection, and it requires I think, for me at least, a daily vigilance. It's hard work.
Well, and it is just as defective a way of going through life as choosing addiction or procrastination or whatever it is that we get into. And when a person moves out of codependency, and we can talk about this part later, not just the codependency of the relationship, but the control part of codependency, the freedom that person experiences is pretty remarkable. Speaking of remarkable, Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio, and he is one remarkable, amazing human being that I respect and love. Larry, talk to us a little bit about New Life. We're coming here at the end of May, Mental Health Awareness Month, and I know I'm aware of my mental health, and I'm also aware that we need help to help other people with their mental health.
Yeah,
so tell us about that.
We do, and we still need to have some folks help us with that matching fund.
Sure.
It was a large matching fund, so people are giving, and we're getting there, and we just need to keep it going so we can get over the top and pull all the money out of the account that's just sitting there waiting to be matched.
Yeah.
So any gift you give will be doubled, and most any size you give will be doubled, because we've still got probably more than $100,000 to go on this.
Now, Larry, you have been harping. You've mentioned several times the thing about the matching gift, but I want to go back to why it's so important for people to give to us, and it's just fortunate that every dollar you give gets matched, But let's talk about the mission here and what we're doing. And I don't know, it just seems like to me God is blessing us greater than I've seen in so many other times. What is it that a person is giving to if they're giving to New Life from your perspective?
Well, before I read you something, I'll answer that. And what you give to when you give to New Life is you're giving to somebody's life being transformed, being forever changed, for people learning how to think differently, for people learning that it's okay to live in pain, it's okay to work through tough times, it's okay to be uncomfortable, because the other side of that is really, it's amazing. God does such amazing work. When we did these in-person workshops, part of the reason we love those is that we'd said we had a first row seat to watch the Holy Spirit do work.
Yeah.
In 48 hours, we'd see somebody coming in not wanting to be there, mopey, not real happy, and then Sunday noontime.
And that was just our staff. And then
I thought I hit it better than that.
Hey, I'm sitting right here, guys. You don't have to talk about it.
Not every person is that way, but we saw those people who were. And then on Sunday morning, it was Easter.
Mm-hmm.
It was wonderful.
It was totally different.
But here's a note somebody wrote to us. I want you all to know that New Life is such an important part of my life, and I'm so thankful and blessed to be truly connected with you all. I listen to the radio show every day and pray for you all and the callers.
Thank you.
I receive answers to my own questions every time I listen. My husband and I attended the marriage intensive last February, but got away from using the tools we learned for a couple of months. We were struggling with a lot of life changes. Her husband's dad died. Mother died, and they were dealing with care for the father and buying a house. So they had a lot of stuff going on. Then she said, once we got smart and got out our New Life materials and started reading and using the comfort circle, healing in our relationship began immediately. The most special part of it all to me is that you all truly mean it when you say community is where the healing really is.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. And now you're checking with us for our prayer requests. That means so much. So that's what happens. People lives intersect with New Life. And when I say New Life, I'm really saying the Holy Spirit, because we just set the stage and we make it available for people to be receptive to watch the Holy Spirit step in and do a work.
You know, one final thing here before we go to a break, and if you can help us, please call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and he said, tell me how you started New Life 31 years ago. I said, some men, Dick Ragsdale and Dave Steffi, came to me, and they said, we want to give you a couple of $1 million to start a company, an organization. I said, well, what kind? They said, you pick. We believe in you. So they got this money into my hands, and we started New Life Treatment Centers, and we started doing treatment in secular hospitals, Christian treatment in secular hospitals. We could have never started without the help of those partners. And now every time you give $1, you're taking the place of Dick Ragsdale and Dave Steffi, who started this whole thing. Would have never happened if they hadn't said, hey, let's go talk to that Arterburn guy and see if he wants to start a company. We need your partnership. We're grateful for your partnership. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll be back further.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 30th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change by the end of the day yesterday. Her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Let's talk with Michelle, San Diego, California. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to New Life. How can we help today?
Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, I am so glad you're on the phone with me. I've been struggling quite a bit because I was engaged and my fiancé was showing me his Pinterest. He collects Pinterest. And when we did that, I saw that one of the little tags that he saved was black lace and stockings. And I go, hey, what's this? And he goes, oh, it's something old. And he opens it up, and it's all like 3,000 pics of women with stockings and bra and underwear. And I said, this doesn't feel right to me. I don't like it. And so he deleted it. And it happened 2 more times.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, they were fully dressed women. They were, like evening gowns or shorts or cowboy suit or whatever.
We get it.
And they're all dressed. And then
What's the question for us?
My question is, I lost it. I completely lost it on him. And I F-bombs everywhere. And I had like flashbacks because I have been raped and I have been betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just wondering, is that like, no, I feel like I'm guilty because I've lost my relationship with him now. And I'm alone, isolated and alone with COVID.
Michelle.
And did I make a mistake?
No, Michelle.
In going off on him?
Michelle. Yeah. We never recommend the F-bomb thing, but here's the deal. You discovered something about him that, in my experience, gets worse after a person is married, right? Now, what if you had seen this on Pinterest and he said, oh, that was then, and he deletes it, and then that was the end of that, and you never had any other suspicion about anything? That'd be one thing. But it happened again in a different form, and he didn't, not only did he not feel horrible for you, who has been a victim, he dumped you. What a gift that is. Pain, so much pain now, but let's just imagine how much pain you would have over 10 years of superficial connection, him looking at pictures, all this kind of stuff that's going on. Alice, Chris, I really want to encourage Michelle that this is a good thing, even though it's a horribly painful thing.
Michelle, it must be so hard to receive that and to believe it, that this is a good loss, because this whole situation with him reopened those older wounds of the sexual abuse and the previous betrayal that you went through. So you're sitting with the accumulation of historical pain and current pain right now, and you must be feeling lonely and overwhelmed and kind of beating yourself up that it's your fault you lost this guy. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yes.
You never had this guy if he was doing this kind of stuff, though, would be my point.
So Michelle, there's two.
The problem
things.
is what? What's the problem? Hold on a second. What is the problem?
I had flashbacks, and I was backing up because I was cursing him, and then I was kind of like panicky because I was flashing back on when I was raped and stuff that's happened. And when I backed up, I hit the fireplace and I freaked out. I thought I was entrapped. And I ran into the bedroom and I was going to go to counseling because I've been to counseling on all of this before. And, but I can't go because I don't have my job now and I don't have, access. But I prayed And I thought of everyone. I tried to bring every thought that I had, everything that I had, and then visualize it, ask God to help me with it. I prayed over it. I felt better. I felt healed. And I told him that. And I said, just please forgive me. And he had he went on and he went on and on.
Okay, so
you just made another point that this is a good thing.
Michelle, he is a dangerous person for you. There's two things going on, and I want to make this really clear. He's not ready for a relationship with you or probably any other woman. That's a fact, based on his behavior that you've told us.
Yeah, right.
There's another fact, and that's what you're struggling with, and that is you are still living with your trauma. And it is causing tons of fear and tons of pain for you.
A separate problem than him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I want you to try to get back into your literature, the things that you know. Try to look for resources out there. We might be able to guide you into some resources that can get you help for trauma recovery. And so, again, this is a double gift, because the gift is now you get to focus on what you need for healing and not try to work this out in a relationship that's not ready for it.
Yeah.
And Michelle, you did the right thing by apologizing for your outburst and by acknowledging the past. A stable, healthy man would have been able to accept that, forgive you, and move forward with the relationship.
Yeah.
But he couldn't do that.
So I'm really, I want you to get help for that trauma. I want you to somehow, in your loneliness and feeling isolated, also develop a little bit of gratitude that the pain that you're feeling now would be much worse stretched out over 40 years with this guy. And like I say, when people get married, they think, oh, this will all get better. It usually gets worse. Now, here's the question. Is this person beyond redemption? No, he's not. And I just wonder what would happen if you gave him a call and said, I just want you to know I'm getting some help for the trauma that I went through and my reaction. I'm getting some help for that. And I was just wondering if there's anything in you that would want to get help for whatever it is that drew you to that site, drew you back to that site, and then decided to end the relationship. Because you know what? Based on what I feel, or what I see, if I took care of my trauma and you got some help for this, let's just call it a little bit of a lust thing, we might be a good couple one day. Now, I wouldn't date him, even if he said, okay, I'll go to Every Man's Battle this weekend. But I'm just saying, sometimes, a man will literally live up to the expectation that a woman sets for him, even in a situation where you think it's just impossible. And so that's what I would consider. But if you didn't do that, I just don't even worry about it. But do try to get, I hate for you to go through life with the pain of that rape and that trauma being so present and that you're reacting to it. Take your life back, helps a person go from reactive to responsive living. That's what I want for you. So I'll send you that book and the workbook. I hope it'll be a blessing to you. We're just out of time. If you need some help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, same thing, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And, we got some Father's Day. Father's Day is coming up here pretty soon. We have a lot of great things to give a man. Every Man's Bible, such a great tool for so many guys. Every Man's Battle for guys that need that too. My thanks to Chris and to Alice. If you need help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If we could help you, same thing. And if you can help us, 1-800.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.